Today, it's Ian and Cameron instead of Heather and Beige. Who's replacing who? They'll have to decide that. ChillPoint. Hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, where yes, Heather and Beige are away
on
this
assignment.
Yeah, they're doing some deep journalism today for the next month.
And it's that kind of deep journalism where they don't actually write anything down or actually do any work.
Well, I mean, if you leave a record, then I can go against you.
So I am joined by Ian and Cameron, who, of course, if you have been watching Checkpoint, you know that Ian does join us sometimes behind the desk and writing stories. And, of course, Cameron has been writing a bunch of stories lately, too.
Yeah.
So thought it appropriate. We'll be having, over the next couple of weeks, we'll have a couple different rotating hosts. If you were looking on the YouTube channel, there was no Checkpoint this week because things just got busy with a bunch of other stuff, and it didn't work out to do a Checkpoint, but we can still do ChillPoint. So here it is. This is the thing that I forgot to actually say. This is a show where we talk about video game news.
Yes. Set the expectations.
Yeah. Prepare yourself for mid-takes.
So, let's get... So, all right. I feel like we should probably start. Maybe, I don't know if we can get it completely out of the way, but we can start talking about the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was the biggest announcement in the video game.
Dominating the news at the moment.
We're going to switch to a Steam Deck.
Right out of the gate with the hot takes. But yeah, the Switch 2 coming in June. And it's, I mean...
A worldwide release in June, too, which is important.
And I've heard, I don't know what this is based on, but I have heard that they have talked about that they're actually like making, a lot
Enough.
of them. It's not being like, we sold out day one because we've produced 5.
Yeah, I think they're aware that this time they want to be with the price, which the price is what it is. But I think they want to make sure that they're going to be able to sell every one that they can.
Yeah, I mean, you always see this, right? Where people are like, no, we're going to produce enough this time. And as it turns out,
This time for sure.
Yeah.
That's why Apple is currently run by a logistics guy, is that they know how many of these things to put together and when to get them and when to make them.
so it is actually possible to meet needs. Interesting.
We generally, it seems like it's basically the Switch, but everything a little better.
Yeah.
Like it's not ginormously surprising, I would say. Like it's basically all the things that people wanted in a Switch.
There are some really interesting trade-offs I found in the hardware. It's lower battery life. Okay, that's on the low end. That's unfortunate. On the plus side, 1080p on the screen that you're holding.
Right.
On the downside, it's back to being an LCD screen rather than OLED. But on the plus side, it is brighter and HDR10 compatible at 120 frames per second. So
That's good.
I've seen a lot of people, a lot of the people who actually were at the in-person demo being like, I know it's an LED, but let me finish. It's actually like really, really good.
yeah. There are trade-offs. And, OLEDs are notoriously bad for using in sunlight, and this is a machine that's expressly made to be played on the go wherever you happen to be, rather than a special black room.
Now, I will say, I am not that interested in larger screen, except for in the context that it makes the whole thing bigger, which means it can theoretically have more space inside for better processors and stuff. I didn't think the Switch particularly needed a bigger screen. It's like at a certain point, you can't make the screen too big without it not being a portable.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, I thought the Switch was already kind of at that max size, but anyway, we'll see. But
Well, as someone who played the only Switch games I've played that weren't for work have been played on screen rather than sitting
I was
down.
gonna say, I have literally, I have undocked my Switch like a handful of times.
That said, though, the new size does mean that the Joy-Cons are a bit bigger for my big hands, so that will be a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, okay. Because I've got like little hands, so I found the Switch kind of amenable to that. But then again, I also still use like
A little,
my little iPhone.
I mean, I still want I want a little iPhone, but they don't make them anymore.
No,
But-
no.
I will say that I personally find the Switch control, like the controller, which is the controller is just the two Joy-Cons stuck together.
The doggy face, yeah.
On the thing, doggy face. I guess it is kind of a doggy.
Yeah.
I've never really thought of it as that.
Yeah, it's kind of like lopsided.
It's an old meme,
Yeah,
but it checks out.
But I find that to be like the most comfortable control. Like I have a Xbox One controller at home that I use just for PC gaming, and I find that it is less comfortable than the Switch one. Which, from what I understand from people, the Switch controller, like that sort of configuration, is not considered to be that good. And it's like, well, you have to get the Pro controller. But it's like, and maybe it's because I have small hands, or maybe it's like because it's more like straight up and down rather than the kind of out the normal. I don't know what it is, but it happens to work for my particular thing.
See, like, and as much as I say that I prefer the smaller controllers, the thing is, I really want a Duke
Yeah.
for my PC because it just felt good. You had like this, like this enormous object.
Good size to it.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about the entire next generation of video game consoles, including the current one, is how many of them are allowing arbitrary Bluetooth controllers to be compatible with the system. So if you don't like the what Nintendo's offering in its Pro or in its box-in options, you have lots of other options out there. And that leads me to another question I have about the Switch 2, is the mouse control. Is that something that they're going to allow a third-party controlling of? Like, can you just get a Microsoft mouse and pair that via Bluetooth and use that?
That's and I find the mouse control interesting. I don't know whether it's like, do you need like a little side table beside your couch in order to use it properly?
This will lead to a lot more hilarious speed runs of things where people are playing their Switch
Well, it's
with
really-
like, I don't know, Cooking Mama like, or something.
Well, it's really interesting they decided to put the game that they decided to put together as a showcase for the mouse controls, because you've got the Metroid Dread, which, from what I've read, isn't perfect. It wasn't intended to be done with mouse and mouse. But
You mean Metroid Prime?
Prime, yes, sorry, the new
Yeah.
the new Metroid that's coming. It will have the option for mouse play. Cyberpunk was obviously built with the mouse play in mind, but it's that the wheelchair basketball game,
Right,
That-
which looks quite fun, yeah.
pushing your wheels with both things.
And all the sort of hands-on experience stuff that I've read has said it's like surprisingly intuitive to play.
While we are on the topic of controllers too, I want to point out that we've one of the additions to the console library on the Switch is GameCube games,
Right.
which means we're also getting God's perfect controller as a wireless controller for the GameCube controller.
I love of all the controllers, I mean, really that have ever existed. Like the GameCube controller is like one of the only controllers that you can't just be like a Super Nintendo controller obviously has a very specific look.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
can basically remap the buttons to
Yes, yeah.
Things.
and it's like the GameCube controller is the only controller that people actually like. I mean, obviously there are weirdo controllers that
Right.
nobody likes. But it's a controller that everyone really liked. And also, it's such a bizarre configuration that you can't really map it properly onto any other normal kind of controller.
You need to do so very thoughtfully. As someone who has
I mean, I
emulated
guess an N64 controller also, but nobody liked that.
Yeah, the weird like.
But the nice thing about the GameCube controller is that it pioneered analog triggers with the click in such a satisfying way. The pull on those is just so good, and you get your two sticks, even though one of them is the C stick. It's still a second stick, which was new at the time. But it's just that it feels like God took a shit in my hands. It just molds so perfectly into my grip that I love the GameCube controller.
And it's just got, and all the buttons are like different sizes and weird configurations and stuff.
It's also wonderfully the origin of the Miyamoto quote, saying that he wanted to make a game where you just pushed A and you won. And so they made the A button just huge.
So, that'll, and it's also, it's got a C button on it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they also reveal like pinky buttons on the underside?
Yes, yeah, for
the Pro controller anyway.
Oh, okay.
They're remapping, the underside buttons, which is a pretty common thing in like third-party controllers.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think any first-party controllers have the underside buttons.
Because like those seem like these fingers very deft. These ones are like they move. They don't even move independently.
So
of
I
one
always had a
another.
question as to what those sorts of buttons were for, and I found my answer in Elden Ring
Oh,
for holding down the run button.
I can see that.
Oh,
Now,
okay,
I can
okay,
see
okay.
because a move that I definitely do not like in video games is having like something like run or something that you do a lot being mapped to like R3 or L3, like the push in,
Click in, yeah.
on the, because I find that movement can be quite fatiguing
Yes.
if you have to do it a lot.
Yeah, the click in on the sticks is something that I also hit accidentally. I don't know whether it's because I'm ham-handed and clumsy or whether it's just like.
But have that map to understand, like, you don't have a lot of control, but you can hit it.
Yeah, if it just needs to be depressed rather than like,
A lot of subtlety.
It also means I don't have to, hold down up the A button with my thumb to keep running, and then sneak my index finger over to hit X to heal at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
Or the other one that I always used to remap was emulated games do like save state, refresh state.
Yes.
Save state, load state. When especially if you're playing like an action game where you're just
I remember as a much younger man looking at my Half-Life 2 save games and realizing they were about every 10 seconds. And that I hadn't actually made a proper save since like Act 1 of the game. And they were all just like quick saves.
Danger.
Speaking of which, I cracked out Quake again.
OG Quake?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or GL Quake. Yeah. Kind of rules.
Yeah, they made good games back then when they took their time.
Yeah. Also, I love how the paddle buttons or the underside buttons they were GR and GL on the release that I saw.
Oh.
And somebody referred to them as gargle buttons. And I was like, yeah, baby, I can hit your gargle button.
with the least deft fingers. Speaking of things that go in your mouth, actually, this is one of the things that I want to know the most about with the Witch 2 is the cartridges look great. They look red. Are they spicy? What do they taste like?
Oh, yeah. What's the bitterant?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Presumably,
graceful.
yeah, I would assume that it would be the same kind of bittering agent that they used before.
As we've found out on Loading Ready Live, the same does not necessarily mean that they're all the same.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Different formulations and that, but assuming it's got to be something different.
Yeah, I mean, they must. It's probably just like a version of whatever bitterant they use on like things like sleeping pills, right?
Yeah, just enough. While we're also on the topic of the carts themselves, I did want to talk just a bit about some of the cartridges that are not cartridges, but are just the I guess in 90s parlance, dongles for the game that you're buying. And Elden Ring is specifically one of those titles.
Oh, have they said that there's going to be fancy stuff in the cards?
Oh, no, there's not going to be. It's that there will be nothing in the cart, not even the game. It will only contain the license to the game, which you will then download directly from Nintendo's servers.
Really?
That's actually that is an interesting postmodern artifact.
I mean, they used to do that with discs even they do it now, even like on PlayStation and Xbox. You'll often get a disc that actually doesn't have the game or has only half the game on it.
Right. Like what game manuals used to be like, where at some point in the game it would ask you like a copy protection question that would require the use of the manual.
And I remember back in the day when early versions of Quark Express, you had to plug this big old thing into your SCSI port on the back of your computer.
So does that mean that? I guess the question is that tied to your? Is it treated differently by your system than an actual cartridge-based game?
So my understanding of how it works is that you click it in for installation purposes, and that associates that license of the game, which is on the cartridge, with your account or your Switch, so that you don't have to keep the cartridge around to play it. You can select it just like any other game. But if you decided to say sell the game,
you can. Oh, so you can sell them.
I'm pretty sure that another person plugging it in and registering will invalidate your registration.
Okay.
Interesting.
But
okay. I like that a lot.
Yeah. But here's what I think the read is on why they're doing this. I don't think it's about cost savings. I don't think it's about delivering you the latest version of the game all the time. I think it's about keeping the jailbreakers out, because one of the easiest vector for jailbreaks are software flaws that get shipped on cartridges that are unchanging. Back in the old Xbox days, you had to have a certain copy of MechWarrior to do the jailbreak, and this follows through into the Switch. So if you're always being forced to get the latest secure version from Nintendo whenever you're installing,
right? I mean, yeah, there's whole things with you need this version of Mario Maker or whatever, so you have to put the disc in and disconnect your Switch from the internet.
Exactly.
So, not all games are going to be like this.
No.
Only some.
Yeah.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that. I'd be curious. It'll be interesting to see whether they're sort of treated differently than actual cartridge games, whether they're treated closer to download games, which would be sad. But anyway.
Yeah, things will be changing, but I just thought that'd be interesting to explore that as a reason.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, that a lot of people have been clowning on is that the welcome tour is apparently
expensive.
They haven't said what the price is. They just said that it is going to be a paid thing, which makes no sense whatsoever. I would be so mad if I was one of the developers behind that thing, because it's nobody's going to buy it.
No.
I mean, sure, some people are going to buy it, but it's not going to. It's when you're making the thing, you have to think that it's going to be everybody's going to use this to find out about their Switch, and then realizing that it's actually going to.
Yeah, people are going to hit A until it ends, and then not know how to use anything.
Got to be.
They said $10.
$10.
Wow. I mean, that just seems punitive.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was apparently entirely Reggie's idea to have Wii Sports included in the Wii.
Yeah, he fought for that.
And he fought for it, and I mean, I don't know the numbers in terms of what that cost them to do, but clearly, everyone knew. You got to have something to do on, even the PlayStation's got, the Astros Playroom.
Yes.
And you got to have something to do.
Yeah.
And why else would you get this game? It's sure, you're giving it away for free and you spent X amount of dollars to make the game, but you're not gonna make your money back on selling the title.
not for the development.
Nobody's gonna want to buy that. Like,
It's just it's a loss leader. Like, come on, guys.
yeah, just give it away.
Yeah, like Super Mario Brothers was free.
And it's not going to be a game that people play more. I don't think anyone's going to go in and say, I need to 100% welcome to Switch 2.
I mean, they could even have been like, it is going to be $350, but or 450? No, 350. Isn't $399?
I thought it was
No,
$449.
$449.
$449. Yes.
It's going to be $449 instead of the $399 that everyone thought it would be, but you get this free game. Like they could have, you know.
I think the problem is it's not even a game. It's a tutorial.
It's literally like it's got like little mini games in it, but it's literally
like,
got like things that go around telling you what the different parts of the Switch thing do.
It's like the Fly Swatter game that came with a Super Nintendo mouse.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's what you make. It's the software you make because no one reads manuals anymore, so that you know what the thing's for.
Exactly. Desk Job was free. It wasn't even free on the Steam Deck. Desk Job, the Aperture Desk Job was free just on Steam. I actually played it. I don't have a Steam Deck, and I played it on Steam. It's a really fun game. It's just like a little. I mean, it's ostensibly like showing you how the Steam Deck works, but it's also just like kind of a cool game and has like surprisingly a lot of lore to do with the Portal world.
I had not even heard about that. That's great.
You should check it. It's free on Steam.
But but I do want to. I mean, there's not much we need to say about the pricing of the Switch. It is what it is. It's what the market will bear, and it may or may not change in the future.
Yeah.
But because I follow Japan and Japanese news so closely, I find the situation in Japan particularly interesting with regards to the Switch, because there will be two models available for sale on release date. One, which is Japanese only, and it will cost 400 yen dollars, 40,000 yen. There will also be a version which is also for the Japanese released market, but includes localization and support for international Nintendo stores and the English language, or languages other than Japanese. That version will cost 250 more yen dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, people are calling it. This is the biggest gaijin tax that has ever been levied in Japan.
Oh well, I don't know about that. But like, do you have to go to that island off the coast to buy it?
Oh my god, from the Dutch.
Yeah.
So
Or the Portuguese.
So like, I mean, how fast is there going to be a mod to flip one to the other?
That's a good question, and again, that's probably why they've got these keys to keep that from happening. But I know a friend in Japan who said, I speak good enough Japanese, but will the Japanese only model allow me to access indie titles that are only available in English? Probably not.
That is very interesting. I mean, that's sort of a weird variation of the like. The region locking.
Yeah, it's like the handheld of Babel.
Yeah. Well, they're keep in mind, 400 yen dollars is significantly less, especially after conversion, than the price is going to be in any other country in Japan. So this is, I think, just their hedge against scalpers buying from Japan to resell elsewhere.
Will they have a cute skin?
Or a special uniform.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I have to say the price, obviously the price isn't great, and the price of games isn't great.
Yeah,
but
don't love it.
That's where we are. And to be honest, like, I have to say, when you're not from the U.S., like when you're from Canada or I know,
especially
Australia or
ripped the Aussies,
whatever, you're kind of used. Like, I'm kind of used to whenever I see an American price, to kind of bump it up by a couple $100. So like I think I think the Switch was probably like the original Switch was probably like 600 here.
Yeah,
when
so
it came
like
out.
Switch 2 would probably be hitting
or
around
maybe
700,
or maybe it was or 500 or 550 or something. But like we're an extra $50 one way or another is not that big a deal for me. But I've talked about this before, but as a somebody who was largely and still am largely a PC gamer, with the Switch as my main console, I do get thrown off by, and this isn't like a Switch-wide thing, it's, a Nintendo-specific thing, but Nintendo is very committed to maintaining the price of their games. And,
And your systems.
obviously that's their right to do. Mm-hmm. And I think it is a powerful move to do, right? Like, that unlike, like, say, Assassin's Creed Shadows just came out, that within a year it'll be half price.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If not less than half price.
Yes. Not so for Nintendo.
That's just how Ubisoft games work. So you can wait.
Yeah, like I'll get it at the Steam sale for $4.99.
Yeah. Mario Odyssey, $80.
Yep.
Always $80.
Yeah. And like I bring this up sometimes with Magic stuff where people are like, well, this is too expensive. I don't want to buy it. And it's like, well, the solution is don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't buy it. And people are like, how dare you take the side of the corporations? Like, that's advising you not to buy something because it's too expensive is not taking the side of the corporation. That is how the system is supposed to work. If you don't like a thing, don't pay for it. Right?
In whatever way that means.
Yeah.
I also want to bring up the race to the bottom that's occurred in mobile as well, as another reason why he's holding this line on a base price.
I know Nintendo, like, that's part of the reason why Nintendo is like only been like, they've been pretty successful, but some of their first party games, I should say, have not. Nintendo's been like, this is a $20 game. That is a good price for this game. Yeah. People are like, it's on mobile. You can't charge $20 for a game.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is a $20 game.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you have that, like, if you're locked into that,
Yep.
and if you have the sort of strength of fortitude to maintain that.
Yeah, if you've got the market control.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you're like, all right.
And Nintendo absolutely does. If you want to play Nintendo games, there's only one place to play them.
Yep.
Although I do remember,
is a tough
like,
road, though. Yeah.
way back in the day, a friend of mine had a copy of Gauntlet for his Nintendo Entertainment System that you needed to do some kind of like dexterity trick to get the console to play the game because it wasn't a licensed copy.
It was one
of
of
the
those,
game.
it was different.
It had a subtly different like cartridge shape.
So you had to like lift it up and put it back in or something?
I forget what you actually had to do, but it didn't. It was Nintendo Entertainment, so you put it in, pushed it down, and then closed the lid, right? But you had to do some kind of like.
Yeah, there's some.
There was a dex check.
Yeah. The old cartridge swap, disc swap tricks.
Yeah. That said, while it is Nintendo's consoles are the only place that you can play Nintendo games, sometimes other titles make their way across to the Nintendo consoles for people who only play on Nintendo consoles. I'm talking directly at you, Beej. I know you're watching.
Yeah.
And finally, you'll be able to get to play the best introduction to the Yakuza series. Yakuza 0 is coming to the Switch with a director's cut edition that includes new cutscenes, which look, actually, from the small shots I've seen, they actually do flesh out the story a bit more and give more time with the characters, which is what you want in these games. But also, it's getting an English dub for those who partake.
Ooh. They had not, because I know a lot of the Yakuza games have been dubbed into English, but
some of them have.
But Yakuza 0 has not been.
That was one of them. Yeah, that was missing one. So, yeah,
I mean, of course, I am very interested in the pirate
Yakuza,
pirate
Hawaii,
Yakuza.
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Like Pirate Yakuza, is that like when Insane Clown Posse made Big Money Hustlers? I mean, as like their crime drama, and then they made the cowboy version, Big Money Rustlers.
It is kind of like that. Like, honestly, it's like
they just like put on different hats and
it's like weird and bizarre and
awesome.
And the developers have been like, yes, this is canon within the Yakuza universe, even though he has magical magical powers and is traveling on a sailing ship and doing all this stuff.
In the second
Amazing.
game, you fight a tiger, barehanded.
Cool.
So
I'm
this
in.
is normal.
Anyway, I think was there some other Switch 2 stuff that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, there's a couple things here too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because first of all, there's one of the new features of the Switch is the ability to use the Nintendo webcam, and it's going to be actually I can't wait to do that as a stream. Because what they're doing is they're using some sort of system to cut people out and put your faces in the game in Mario parties and whatnot to be sprayed and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I gotta say the Mario Party demo.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely played something like that in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
like the kind of shaky motion. Trying to match the person thing, like balancing something on their head. It's like that's not even like Connect level motion. It's like, wow, they're really excited about this.
But
I would love that if instead of taking letting you choose your photo, like pose for it, if the camera took a photo the instant it was turned on. So it was the equivalent of when you accidentally open the front facing camera on your phone and it's just like.
Well, that was. I like the conspiracy theory. I don't know if this was larger than if more people than just me had this idea, but that the original Wii was a secret Japanese conspiracy to just get lots of video of people doing stupid things in front of their TV.
Yeah. We have 12 hours of you failing or getting gutter balls in Wii Sports.
Yeah, the just dance is an imperative. Please dance. Just what you're doing isn't dancing. Dance. But here's the interesting part about the camera. Like this will be fun to see on, and I think streamers will make good use of this because not only are there third-party cameras coming.
So can it just use regular cameras?
It can just use any regular USB webcam, which we can force our fancy cameras into to give a much cleaner cut.
Can it? Yeah, and if it can use a regular webcam, then theoretically you can just use like a Elgato. What do you call it? The
HDMI to USB.
Yeah,
things?
the Stream Deck or Cam Deck or whatever it's called. Anyway,
one of those ones.
Where because that just presents itself as a thing. So that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this works. Or if you're not into putting fancy cameras in, there will also be third-party cameras available. The first one announced looking like a piranha plant, which I think is a really cool.
That's hilarious. Yeah, love that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Huh.
Let's see there.
Oh, that's cute.
Look directly into the piranha plant's mouth.
Oh, I wonder if you can shut the lips as a privacy filter.
Oh, yeah. Like actually having it as a physical shutter.
Yeah.
By the way, it's truck month.
You don't say.
Also, that looks vaguely like, I don't know, an Austin Powers or a Get Smart like spy device.
Spy camera.
Yeah, where it's like really obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Immediate updates. You can shut the mouth.
Oh, good. Thanks, Foxmar.
Yeah. Other than that, I think there's only one other piece of information I wanted to quickly touch on for the Switch 2, and that is the requirement for the SD cards. You can't just use cheap ones. You've got to use a fancy technology that currently SanDisk is the only manufacturer that supports, but it's probably going to expand to other manufacturers due to demand, due to the Switch 2. And the reason for it is that these microSD Express cards hook directly into the PCI bus.
Oh, so it's not just like a faster
transfer speed.
Transfer speed. It actually is a different technology.
Extremely faster transfer speed.
Huh.
I think they start at 850 megabits per second.
Are they backwards compatible? Like, can you use them in a regular SD card slot?
That I don't know about, actually. When we say they are more expensive, they're about $20 more expensive than a good quality SD card from a company like SanDisk. But
how many of these are you really going to need to buy?
You're probably going to need to buy one, and you'll keep it in there forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's expansion storage is what it is. So.
Still not as bad as, memory stick or whatever, the Sony ones.
Yeah.
Oh, the 64K one.
Oh God, yeah. The pack-in.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
See, I don't know. I have a weird bit of nostalgia for the day when you would have like a 3.5 inch floppy with your name on it.
Oh yeah.
In like in school comp sci classes or typing classes, that was like yours with your programs on it or your forks of like
You got to
HyperCard
take it
programs on
away
it.
and put it.
Yeah,
I mean-
and then you would also have like your memory card that had your save games on it,
Right.
From
you could,
playing
take that
PlayStation.
around. Yeah. I mean, as here at Loading Ready Run, we do obviously use a lot of SD cards. Now, most of them are not micro SD. We mostly use the full size SD, but the SD getting faster and being more pervasive, therefore coming down in price, is always good for us. So, also, because there are already like 30 different qualities of SD cards, having something that's just like micro SD Express, that's like a little bit, because there's like previously SD card speed there's like different numbers on
classes.
them. Yeah, there's like class blah blah blah, and when you're running like say 4K or 8 or 6K cameras, it matters which speeds of SD cards you're getting. So something that's a little bit more like, if you get Express, it's good. I can see that.
Yeah. Cutting, I don't know, 20% off the time it takes to export footage when
Well-
you've been recording in 4K.
Or cutting 20% off the loading time it takes to go between worlds in Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, they. I remember when the, Xbox and PlayStation have been sort of touting their really fast memory for a while. Like, there's been a couple games where they were like, "There's no way we could do this on other systems because of the super fast memory." So more of that kind of stuff seems good.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere, which I feel like was supposed to be illustrating how good it is, but was sort of telling on themselves. I think it was what I call digital, the company that does all the like analysis of quality of video stuff. Anyway.
Oh. Okay.
But they were Digital Foundry. That's it.
Okay, good.
They were talking about that. They were saying, and from so it's using an NVIDIA system on chip, and NVIDIA is saying approximately 10 times the speed of the Switch, which is one of those things where it's like, wow, that sounds really fast, except that it's like, I've also heard that in terms of quality and capabilities and stuff, we're looking at somewhere around the like Xbox Series S. So like the current like slow Xbox. Which, to be clear, is a big improvement. But so, I mean, they're telling on themselves in the sense that if this new thing that's going to come out is about the speed of the Xbox Series S and it's 10 times faster than the Switch, it illustrates the kind of problem that, why the Switch has not been.
Felt a bit, sluggish.
And to be fair, like I said, it's my console of choice. I play lots of games on the Switch and they play fine, but that it's not quite the same quality as you could probably get on something else.
But that's the point of consoles is this set feature set that you can write to and know that that everyone who will be playing your game has this performance capability.
The experience is homogeneous.
Yeah, which is why it's so interesting for the Switch 2 to start introducing quality modes available. That appear to be user selectable. So you can go from you can play at 1080p at 120 frames per second, or 720p at 120, 1080p at 60, or 4K upscaled using DLSS at 30.
And I mean, Xbox and PlayStation have been doing that for a while now. So it's interesting. I did feel like when they throwing around things like 120 frames a second for the Switch 2, I feel like the caveat of for some games is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yes.
It's like, the current Switch can run games at 60 frames a second. Almost no games do, but it can do that.
But then you throw in something like, and this is again why they went with an LCD screen rather than OLED, dynamic refresh rates, which means if you're not always going to be at 120, but sometimes you are going to be at 120 frames.
So anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We got lots of time to examine this Switch over the next Chex Watch decade.
Yeah.
Was it June 5th, I think?
June something. Yeah, I'm
June
not
4th
willing
or
to.
5th is when they sing. But anyway, let's talk a few things.
Yes.
The few non-Switch related things that came out. So not last week because we didn't do ChillPoint last week, but the week before, we talked about people did somebody did a mod for Stardew Valley called Baldur's Village.
Nice.
And in Baldur's Village, it's like another village. It's like they made this mod that like adds another village beside the Stardew Valley village, and you can go in there and hang out with a bunch of the Baldur's Gate 3
all your favorite
characters.
friends from Baldur's Gate 3.
And you can romance some people.
Ooh.
A bunch of events.
Hamster.
20 NPCs, 6 locations. It was extremely well received. The CEO of Larian said so much love went into this. Amazing work. So, of course, Wizards of the Coast DMCA'd them.
Of course, yes.
Wizards of the Coast, not Larian.
No.
Yeah. Ultimate owners of
of the IP. So which everybody got mad about, and then they have released a statement saying that they're saying that they have released the DMCA thing. They said the takedown was made in error, and they're taking steps to rectify the issue so that the mod can be made available again. It's that thing of like, we've seen this a few times where it's like when they say was made in error is either
you didn't like that.
It's either you didn't like that and then there's the backlash and so you recanted, or the other thing is it's probably not even them. It is the third-party company that they have contracted
to monitor,
to scrape the internet, using some sort of AI bot,
usually,
to just do all the DMCA claims.
Yes.
Just automated hitting all these things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to do it that way, and then apologize when they get pushback.
This seems like an artifact of the way that copyright works, right? Where either you defend it or you lose it in some jurisdictions. It sucks.
Well, the problem it's not even that copyright is the issue itself. It's that the DMCA is so broken that rights holders can just point it at something and go and make it go away with no recourse, no access
and then
to the courts.
Like it happens to us frequently enough, where we use either, wasn't it a piece of original music Bradley wrote for us?
We've often been hit by, for original music that Bradley wrote for us, or music that we have bought, like licensed from a company.
Right.
Most famously, you and I, Cameron, sipping scotch and having that taken down for some rap song. I don't know.
What it was the
fire crackle.
Yeah, the fire crackle in the background was sampled by a band in one of their songs. So the the distributor for that album,
Auto.
Auto took down our
Well, we've especially the intro music for Learning Made Live, almost every time
Constantly.
gets marked as even though that music isn't an original, like that is music that we purchased and licensed from a company that purchases and licenses music. Some other company purchased and licensed that music as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not an exclusive license, but put their thing into the DMCA database and then gets hit.
Yeah,
It's
the problem
stupid.
is there's no way to prevent this from there's no way to prevent this from happening, and that's by intention in the way that the law was written, putting the power into the hands
it allows the most
right
aggressive holder to harass everyone else.
What I was the way this story went though was much better than it was going in my head when you were reading it, because it says Wizards of the Coast apologizes for DMCA takedown. My thought was, is this going to be a story about Wizards apologizing but not rescinding the takedown? It's like,
Sorry,
Yeah.
we did that by mistake.
real shame that happened. Sorry. Are you going to do anything about it? Nah, I don't think there's anything we can do about that.
A nice account made for ants shows the open and closed mouth on
Hey.
the front.
Oh, that's
awesome.
good. I love the physical shutter. Appreciate that.
That's good product design right there.
We mentioned Assassin's Creed Shadows briefly. Ubisoft has been going through a bit of a time lately,
Sure has.
Yeah.
and that has apparently culminated in Ubisoft kind of famously has always been extremely resistant to being purchased.
Good.
Over the course of ChillPoint, like while we've been doing ChillPoint, I can think of maybe at least twice that Ubisoft like fought off hostile takeovers.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's owned by the original family that owned the thing.
The Northwestern Ubies.
However, the fortunes of Ubisoft have not been very good lately. And so they have... So this is kind of interesting. Technically, Ubisoft has not sold... So the story is that Tencent has bought 25%. But they haven't bought 25% of Ubisoft. What happened? For $1 billion, Ubisoft has taken Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and it's Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and one of their other
The other flagship.
yeah,
IP.
it's basically they took their three biggest flagship IPs.
Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and other enormous video game that is too big to think of.
Ubisoft. The Crew.
Rainbow Six. That's it.
Okay,
Oh.
good.
So, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and they are moving them into a separate holding company, name of which has not yet been released, and they sold
9 cent.
and they sold 25% of that
That's
holding
separate
company
Oh,
to
okay.
Tencent.
Okay.
We'll call it quarter.
So the problem with that, the way I see that, the way I see it is that, so it's like, okay, so now Ubisoft hasn't sold themselves, but also, like, what do they have? What are they working on now?
yeah.
And like a bunch of there's internal memos where like a bunch of the, people who were working for like, because Ubisoft represents quite a few different studios. So studios that were Ubisoft studios, some of them will become studios for this new entity
Okay,
as they're working
right.
on these new projects.
It's called Claris.
My suggestion, it's like, well, it'll be like Ubisoft and then like Ubisoft, the good stuff.
Right.
It's
Right.
like you're splitting off your most popular franchises into a separate company. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and there's a whole thing about like, we want to be clear. There's a leaked internal memo or something.
34.3 studios.
Yves Guillemot is the head of, and the Guillemot family has been head of Ubisoft for a very long time. So this is a memo from one of, that sort of went around one of the internal studios. Where does Zone 1. This is one of Ubisoft's internal studios, and this was leaked to Inside Gaming. But it's like, for one thing, it sounds like it was a bit of a surprise. So it's like, by now you've seen the message from Yves about the decision to create a new subsidiary that encompasses the three biggest Ubisoft brands, Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry. This new entity will remain part of the Ubisoft family and will be continued operated by us, with Tencent being a minority shareholder. This important decision is a key turning point for us the last few difficult years, an opportunity for Ubisoft to rebuild stronger than ever. What does this mean for Zone 1? Certainly we can expect some major changes in terms of structure and organization, which is, code
for everyone's getting fired.
Since these brands represent a significant part of Zone 1's population.
Hey everyone, we're all getting laid off.
For now, what we can say is once the agreement is finalized and confirmed by legal authorities, our Quebec, Saguenay, and Sherbrooke studios will move entirely to the new entity, while our Montreal project teams will be spread between the new entity and current Ubisoft organization. Studios in Toronto, Winnipeg, as well as Red Storm and Blue Mammoth will continue evolving in the current organization.
Oh, that's
Continue evolving.
evolving, yeah.
I like this. It's still very early in the process, and I know you must have many questions, but the short answer is to the what's next question is, we need time to figure this out, and the next months will be dedicated to determining the transition plan.
Shouldn't you have done that already? Actually, I think that's not true. I think they might know exactly what's coming up and are just lying.
I like this. Step 1 was this announcement where we shared the decision and kicked off the planning phase.
Good. You've done your engagement with your employees.
Okay.
Step two will be now until the summer, where we work out how to actually support the new entity with the existing organization and determine what the new model will look like on both sides.
In order to comply with labor laws, we have to all pretend that this is step 1.
Step 3.
I like this. I'm sure you have many questions for which we have no answers for yet. Your MDs,
Managing directors,
right, have also just recently been briefed on this announcement, and like me, they don't have any more information.
So don't ask them. For the love of God, don't ask someone.
However, as always, we will try to keep you updated as to our progress as we go along and share the latest decisions as soon as we can.
They will try to keep you updated?
Well, I mean, if you have an email address, still. Yeah, I was optimistic at the start of this. I thought, okay, this is a great way to let capitalism capitalize and still retain creative control over new and emerging works. But yeah, no, you're right. This is just going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be working anymore.
Yeah, man, that's brutal for Imagine you relocated to fucking Winnipeg.
Ugh.
Imagine relocating to Winnipeg and then getting fired.
Yeah, for video game development, yeah.
Yeah.
And now here's the traditional Paul gets randomly logged out of the Google Doc in the middle of the show. I don't know.
Congratulations, everyone who worked on the latest Ass Creed. You're fired.
As we would say in the game, arigato gozaimasu, sayonara sucker.
Now,
I had heard about the new Assassin's Creed, that it was interesting because if you get tired or bored or frustrated with stealthing around, you can just play as Yasuke and kill everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just like, you know what? Fuck this.
I mean, Yahtzee's review of it was like, it's Assassin's Creed. But it's also like, so you can either, play as whatever her name, the ninja and do all stealthy and stuff, or you can play as Yasuke and go smash everything. You're playing a game called Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go smash stuff, there's a lot of other games. Like, nobody wants... It's just like...
You could probably be playing Elden Ring.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like, that's not... He's like, so I played the entire game as the ninja, because, like, that's how
That's
you
what I
play
signed up
Assassin's
for.
Creed.
Yeah.
Counterpoint. Assassination doesn't need to be neat and clean and quiet.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
true.
I mean, look at the doohickey. Consider the doohickey. And now for the two-hickey.
My favorite game that transitioned from sort of stealth. Well, not transitioned from stealth, but and I wish maybe this will give an opportunity to make more the Splinter Cell games. A lot of fun, great. I don't know if it was the most recent, but they did kind of the same thing as they did with Assassin's Creed, where they sort of did an update to they sort of changed the formula a little bit and updated it, changed stuff. They made it Michael Ironside not be the voice of, because
that's huge.
they switched to doing motion capture for all the moves and stuff. Michael Ironside can't do the move,
Yeah.
the acrobatic moves, and they're like, we should get the actual person to do it. But basically, what they did, they basically turned it from super sneaky stealth to like the movie Taken.
Okay.
So it's
a lot
like
more parkour.
Well, it's like in the first couple Assassin's Creed game or first couple Splinter Cell games, you like sneak through the whole area, and like nobody ever sees you coming. You come up behind them and grab them and throw them into a bush or whatever.
Yeah, like I remember the first Splinter Cell game. The like final mission is you just sneak through the guy's mansion, and then you shoot him through the window of his bedroom when it's just like a silhouette against a curtain.
Yeah.
And you don't even like that's like the boss fight, and then it's like congratulations.
Confirmed kill.
Yeah.
Whereas
now go to the extraction.
This later thing, the bad guys. It's not that the bad guys don't see you coming, but they see you for a very, very short amount of time while you drop down and shoot them in the face.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's like, it's rather than they don't see you at all, it's bang, 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 bang.
Right.
It's actually, it's a really good evolution of the like, you can do lots of cool stuff with it.
Because like I remember that Splinter Cell ending was interesting in that it was very not dramatic.
Yeah.
Right. It was very impersonal and clinical and felt anticlimactic in a way that felt real. And then you realize that what you really want to do is you want to be a grammaton cleric from Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the kind of game you actually want.
You also,
about that
old
movie in a
Splinter
while.
Cell, you also spent like, 75% of the entire game in like black and white night vision. It's like, why do they even bother making color for this game? That would be so much faster or so much easier to develop if they just did it all in black and white anyway.
But I did appreciate how for the second game they got Eamon Tobin to do the soundtrack.
There is at least one example, though, of a franchise making a drastic change in gameplay style and coming out even greater on top in terms of numbers of fans, and that's the Like a Dragon series, going
right, of
from
course,
7 games plus of beat 'em up style to now this is a turn-based RPG,
Hell yeah. Okay.
and people loved it.
I mean,
And,
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yep,
And I mean, not only did they
which they
change
refused
the
to remake.
style of it, but they even to the extent that it's now the Like a Dragon series, not the
Yes.
Yakuza series. Path of Exile 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Poi 2? I don't know, Pote.
Speaking of drastic
Monster
change,
Clicker 2.
Yeah. I Dawn of the Hunt is the expansion, is their like big update that's coming out. But which I love that the developer of Path of Exile 2 is grinding gear games. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But one of the things, so they're adding the Huntress, which is like a
Pet
sort of
class?
no, it's like a callback to like the Amazon from
Oh,
Diablo.
from Diablo 2, yeah. Or original Diablo was the Amazon?
Diablo 2.
Diablo 2, okay.
But they are making a whole bunch of changes to the they so Path of Exile, it's all one of the things. There's a lot of sort of meta aspects of like finding the right builds,
Right, yeah.
and
Those-
sharing builds,
The skill
and finding the
web.
broken, and so they've so they're saying they added the Huntress class, they've added new subclasses, they've added hundreds of new and reworked items. They said it will be a nerf fest when it comes to the most powerful builds the players are using. And
Okay,
I love this.
interesting.
I love the game director is saying people should really be going in with the expectation that nothing you knew about how the game was balanced before is the same. Forget everything you know about Path of Exile, which for me is not that
Yeah,
hard to do.
no.
this is going to be great for Elon Musk.
He's saying you're going to find more shit that is outrageously broken, but it's going to be not the same shit that was broken before.
Grimes, they nerfed my build. Grimes, they nerfed my build. But like, yeah, I played Path of Exile for a couple of months, and it was the patch where they nerfed how healing potions and flasks worked. And so everyone was big mad about how lethal the game had become. But that was just like, if that was all you knew, then you just kind of played in such a way to avoid damage. And I played it for a while, and then the person I was seeing at the time decided to power level me, and then I just died like 12 times in half an hour as she showed up and like tried to drag me through things.
Oh my god.
But up until that point, I had been having a lot of fun. It's a very good monster clicker. Also, it's got a very kind of interesting anti-colonial theme to it.
Oh, that's nice.
Where you are a prisoner who is washed up on a prison colony, basically, and the game is all about you tearing down the empire
Cool.
that put you there.
Cool.
Neat.
I wonder who's getting more free updates these days. No Man's Sky or Path of Exile.
I mean,
No Man's Sky. So yes, No Man's Sky, new update. Now this is actually, I think this is came out like maybe or the end of last week or whatever. But I love this. So it's the what are they calling this? The Relics update. So
Beachcombers.
as with any No Man's Sky updates, they're adding all sorts of cool stuff and changing things. But what they're doing in this one is they're changing some of the world generation stuff and adding basically like paleontology, like skeleton fossils.
I love these
and
kind of
skeletons.
updates where
'Cause
they
you can-
clearly hired
so
someone.
You can dig before you could always dig and terraform,
Right.
But there was nothing down there. Now there's like which
Add skeletons like a cartoon.
But I love this idea that it's like the way that, because they changed the actual world generation. It's such a like God thing.
Yeah.
And like this happened before where they like have changed the world generation and like suddenly this cool planet that you have is now like a icy planet.
Right,
Because
right.
they changed it. But I love the idea that the planet is identical and you're just like, something has changed. And it's like literally the conspiracy that like young Earth creationists have that like something came in and added in all these fossils later on.
Right. Yeah.
It's like
I'm a trickster god. I'm
it's like a
burying
bunch
dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of the ground just transmuted into fossils.
This is awesome. I love when games get updates like this where they have clearly hired at some point at the studio somebody with a PhD in something extremely esoteric who has been like, I've been working on a project behind the scenes for 4 years, right? And like somewhere at No Man's Sky, there's somebody with a PhD in paleontology that they picked up and then learned how to code as a result.
That feels about like that. What this does, though, definitely is it paves the way for the next update, which I believe will be known as the Petrostate update.
Yeah. So, so the thing that I find really interesting is, of course, as well as world generation, No Man's Sky, all the actual, like, the flora and fauna on the planets are all also generated.
Yeah.
And you can, like, name them and do different stuff. And what I'm curious as to whether it's like, are the skeletons
Are they
in
going
the
to be
planet, are they like, is it just like a random assortment of skeletons, or is it like skeletons of the things, or is
like,
it like
of the ancestors of the
is
things?
it clearly do they actually have it like clearly related to the things that are on the surface?
I think that's the kind of question where you would get like, okay, option A is something that we can have ready in like we can have a framework ready for you in about 2 weeks, and then we can look at like what kind of resources we would need to have allocated for that kind of work. The other one is currently an unsolved problem and is going to take at least 10 years and 1,000 people working on it, including time on like we can probably get hours on these computing clusters and this particle accelerator.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
at that point we can probably start looking at how many trillions of dollars this will cost to implement.
Well, yeah, it's like if you can solve this problem for your video game, this will also solve this much larger problem in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. If we figure out how to do this, I'm pretty sure we can build a space elevator.
Anyway,
But hey, new mounts.
yeah.
Also, I kind of love the idea that up until this point, planets in No Man's Sky were just like made of one homogeneous kind of like whole, like a Pokemon, right?
There's the crust, and then there's the Malteser.
yeah, exactly. They're nougat in the center.
I keep thinking that I'd really like to get into No Man's Sky, but I have never. I've bounced off of it a couple times.
It reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you ever played on Max in the 90s, Escape Velocity.
Oh yeah,
where you're just in space and you're like trading things, and it was a great game.
You stumble upon stories.
Yeah, you stumble upon stories. It was this big living world. It was really fun. When I was like 13, it was the tits. I think No Man's Sky, it's the art style that doesn't quite vibe with me. It's got like everything in it looks like it was assembled out of flat pack stuff, right? Everything feels cheap and ugly in a way that doesn't
sort of fit the aesthetic.
I don't like the aesthetic. I think it's got a clear, well-defined aesthetic, which is like everything in this universe is prefab from like template machines, right? Like we 3D print everything in this world.
But it's the book and its cover problem. It's like I can't get over how the cover looks to get into it.
Yeah, nobody in this game has any style.
Ironically, for the name of the game, my biggest problem with it is that there's too many people in that game called No Man's Sky. Like, I don't know. I was super into like Subnautica and that kind of stuff. And so you like, No Man's Sky, you like start and your like ship is all, you've crash landed and it's like, oh, I'm going to make a base and I'm going to do all this stuff. And like 5 minutes into it, there's like a ship that flies over and it's like, oh,
yep.
I guess I'm not like, oh, I'm all alone here in the thing. There's just like dudes around.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
For me, it's unfortunately the building aspect itself that I just bounce off of every time. I was playing the Dune game, and once I got to the point, like, yes, okay, now you know how to use your tools. Now build yourself a little siege. Like, No, I want to find the big siege and interact with the people.
Why do we not have a Dune top level dating simulator? Come on, people. Do I have to think of everything myself where you're playing the Bene Gesserit and you have to like make everyone kiss? Like that should be the Dune game.
Yeah.
Every turn is 1,000 years.
Last time, actually last week's episode of Checkpoint
Yes.
talked about Ronaldo, the football player slash soccer player,
Human being.
being
Ostensibly.
being added to Fatal Fury, which
Does he take one hit and lie down?
and that I mean the jokes,
Yeah, they've
the
written
jokes
themselves,
about
yeah.
he's and to be clear, we're not talking. There's a skin for a fighter that
Or an
is Ronaldo.
NPC or
he is an
yeah.
entirely individual fighter, has a completely different move set,
Right.
is a full thing. He's got like a super powered soccer ball that he hits at people.
I guess that's what happens when you become a wholly owned subsidiary of the House of Sog.
Yes.
So this is the thing, yeah. And so apparently they're just like, we like this guy, put him in the game. And they're like, okay, I guess we will. And apparently the other thing that they like is a DJ.
Yeah. No one stopped them when they did it with Ronaldo. And so they realized, well, if no one can stop us, here we go.
So yeah, Salvador
Ganacci?
I don't know this DJ. Apparently, he's very popular in Saudi Arabia. So he's in the game now.
And naturally, people love this idea, right?
Riyadh, I can't hear you.
And he's
Hold the line.
Ronaldo also plays for currently plays for the Saudi team. But he's I mean, you can wait, I have to. You can see some of the
Doesn't even do his own voice acting.
He's got like, wait, there's a different DJ in the background. Who's the DJ in the background?
It's understudy. DJ understudy. Actually, that's a good DJ name.
Also, was that move just push the guy over? Anyway, he's got, I guess, DJ. I don't know what his DJ related moves. But yeah. So people, big Fatal Fury fans, aka Triple F. There's 4 DLC fighters that are coming in.
Right.
These 2 guys. So Ronaldo, this guy, and then Ken and Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
Okay.
Who are at least
Like
fighting game people.
fighting peak. Yeah.
But people were really hoping for like some of the legacy,
Yeah, the extended roster.
some extended roster Fatal Fury people actually
just
being in
feels
the
like-
Fatal Fury game.
It just feels like Chun-Li should be able to pick up a DJ and use him to beat Ronaldo to death, like a
Right.
nunchuck.
Yep.
And so
Without her hands.
I don't know. Although I will say, there was an age of in like right around like when Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2 were like super big, and in that there was sort of an era where there was just tons and tons and tons of weird fighting games that were coming out.
Yeah.
Often of like very middling quality. But I feel like all of these, there needs to be like a fighting game starring people who are not get Ronaldo, this DJ guy,
90s era Bill Clinton.
and get like the like various like pop singers that have showed up in like Fortnite, like just like all the people who are in these video games for Snoop Dogg who was in Call of Duty.
Right.
Get all these people who have no right to be in an action game.
Yeah, like wasn't Nicki Minaj in Call of Duty?
She was in Fortnite, I know.
Okay.
Maybe else. And just like put them all in one game.
Like this is like taking Jeremy Clarkson and and putting him in the next Mario Kart game, not the one that's coming up, but the
Right.
next one, but replacing the cow.
To be honest, like Jeremy Clarkson in a Mario Kart, but like him being the correct size in proportion
yeah.
to the Mario Kart. He'd be like, bigger than like Bowser or whatever, like just like barely fitting into the lower cart. Would be pretty funny. Like, I mean, they've basically done bits like that on the show.
But it would be that incongruous, just man suddenly in Mario Kart.
So anyway, my sympathies go out to the Fatal Fury community.
Community, yes. Our hearts are with you in this difficult time.
Now, speaking of difficult times, it was, unfortunately, April 1st, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
AKA Internet Lie Day.
Where everyone is really funny.
And, it's obviously in the video game world that you basically just have to, like, anything you read on April 1st, you have to sort of ignore. And then if it's still around by April 2nd, then it's like, okay, we can pay attention to that now.
The one lie that got me that morning before I had my shields up was Victoria getting a Costco. I was really excited for 3 seconds.
That's not even like a fun, crazy lie.
Where you're just like,
that's
well,
just
we've got
like
the one out in Langford.
neat. Oh.
Yeah, but this is going to be slightly more convenient. Nice. Man, if they had said that Victoria was getting a Muji, I think I would have rioted. I would have lost my mind if I had been offered a Muji and then had it taken away. That's like the Cameron Outfitter store.
Muji Corp, then what could I say?
It's like things that
We
you
have
would,
a new we have a retail space opening up.
Yeah. It's like the entirely reasonable thing that you like is going to happen. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But
Idiot.
the kinds of the April Fool's things that I enjoy are ones that, one, have like a little bit of cleverness to them. There was some great, lots of funny, great patch notes that people put out and stuff. But also the ones that have some effort put behind them. And in the world of sort of video game stuff, often that involves like actually making the thing
Yes.
that they're making fun of. And you were talking about how they need to have a Dune dating sim. That's not one of them, but there are 2 games that have that talked about dating sims, and kind of made so last April Fool's Day, Pal
2024.
World was like ha. Pal World more than just pals.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Is and that was like their April Fool's thing. Now Pal World more than just pals has a Steam page.
So you didn't get pal zoned?
It doesn't have a release date, but I don't think you're just allowed to make a Steam game as a joke.
Yeah.
Like I think there is some process that you have to actually show that you are actually making a game.
Pal World, NTSC-U.
So you can.
Okay, so
What lies inside the world tree? An exciting world filled with cute pals.
Wasn't that just a Mudkips?
This is the game that
So not
is
a Mudkips, but
definitely not.
definitely not a Mudkips.
My favorite.
This is the screen cap is a little bit zoomed in here, is why the thing looks a little weird. But yes,
Please don't pet me.
a flirty senpai who wants all the boys.
Lavanda. Nice student ID. So my favorite April Fool's Day jokes are the ones that the community eventually bullies the corporation into actually making.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
seems like this. It seems like this might be the case, but I think this falls into the other corollary around the internet, which is do not bait the furries.
It's
They're
true.
too powerful.
They do not like it. They cannot tell the difference. The visibility in their fursuits is not good enough for them to
And
distinguish.
they have root.
Oh God, yeah.
They also root, but they have.
Yeah, it's like those photographs of like the plane on the way to the furry convention, where
Right.
it's like this cannot be allowed to happen. If this plane crashes,
Yep. Oh yeah, they
Like
should be
the-
separated.
yeah, like we actually need to have contingency planning around furry conventions because what if there's a fire?
And in keeping with Pal World, an exciting school filled with cute pals. Will you remain friends or fall in love? Or dismantle and eat them?
I mean that's kind of funny. Like, I mean, I find the discourse around Pal World really interesting because it's so clearly just stolen our assets. Yet,
No one's stopping them.
Yep.
Well, Nintendo is doing their best.
Nintendo's trying, yeah.
yeah,
It is, it is an interesting... Especially, like, if you've played a lot of the Pokemon games, there's a certain aspect of it where it's like, yeah, why can't I, not the killing and eating part, but like the like, yeah, your Pokemon can like work around your place and they can do stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they can like, they don't have to like fight each other in all set up things. You can give them guns.
yeah, exactly. Why can't Pikachu
it's
pick
like
up a
what-
Mac 9?
They can be your dad.
Yeah, what's the Pokemon is such a like very tightly
Controlled, yeah,
tightly
IP.
controlled and tightly like G-rated world.
Yes.
Yeah, we only
There
get to
can't-
see a part of it because they're games for children.
And there can't really even be like bad guys not real bad guys in the Pokemon world. They're just sort of misunderstood or whatever.
Yeah. Why can't Happiny have a hand grenade?
Also, there's PUBG.
Oh yeah, PUBG dating sim.
PUBG
Right.
dating sim, where you get to and now this is well okay, this is not a real fully fleshed out game, but it is a thing that you can like play on their
okay.
website.
I mean, hey,
You have to have like a Crafton account and stuff, so I haven't actually played it myself, but
a Flash game is still a game.
so it shows this guy, he's all sad that he keeps losing in PUBG. Wait, I haven't switched to the... But what if... Will you spread love on the battlegrounds? Yes, you do indeed date your guns.
Wow.
Don't touch my fuse, Molotov cocktail. My safety is disengaged around you. I want to be the shoulder for some... You take my safety off.
Like the art style of these games is extremely like speaking of tightly controlled experiences, all these dating sims look identical to me.
And I mean, in the context of the April Fool's thing, they're sort
Yeah.
of deliberately mimicking a style.
Well, yes, yeah. Like this feels a lot like a mimicking of what are the shipwives?
Oh,
Cancol?
Cancol collection. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another one too.
Oh yeah, Azure Line.
Right.
And Fate Grand Order.
Yeah, boat wives, tank wives,
Yeah.
plane wives.
History Wives.
Yeah,
It's
Azur Lane was the other one. Yeah.
Uma Musume. Yep, that's another one for your horse wives. It is kind of a solved style right now.
I guess so, right. Yeah, like Gun Wives does not even seem that far out of the
Nope.
realm of things that must already
In fact,
exist.
no, that already was a show about the girls with the guns. I can't remember the name of that, but it featured the P90 quite.
I'm imagining that we're only also scratching the surface of the esoteric weapon wives that must exist out there. There must be like a game series that sold 1 billion units that is about a specific kind of mortar wife.
I mean, there's a whole game that's about dating your swords and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I think those are all. I think those are all sexy anime guys, though.
Yes.
Gunslinger Girl is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon. That's it. Yeah, that is a thing. Anyway,
Yeah, Yeah, more. I mean, I enjoy this sort of joke just because it is such a small.
It's a goof. It's fun. It's cute.
It's a throwaway joke that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's not. Yeah, like you said, like this stupid Costco thing. It's like,
Yeah. It didn't.
but like I have seen things like that in the video game world where it's like, this thing is happening. No, it's not.
Yeah, and you're like, well, that would have been a good
thanks, yeah.
idea. Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
We're patching that thing you hate. LOL.
Fooled you, haha.
I still really enjoy how Games Workshop in Warhammer 40K, I think 3-4 years ago, maybe even longer, brought back, as an April Fool's Day, on April Fool's Day, they released a teaser trailer for the Space Dwarves.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
where it's
yes.
just like you're going through the spaceship, like, and this door like opens and there's nothing there, and then it pans down and there's a dwarf.
Yep.
And he's like, "What were you expecting?" And then it just cuts away, and it's like, "Haha, April Fools." No, actually, here are the
We're
leaves
actually
of
bringing,
Votan.
right.
Yeah.
We're actually bringing them back. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is an aspect of the, of course, you know, back in the day, Think Geek did the best.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yeah, and
The Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Before GameStop bought them and destroyed them.
yep,
But yeah, they were sort of the thing, and I mean, we actually even talked about the sort of evil version of that, which happened actually just a couple weeks ago, where EA put out a bunch of fake ads that were obviously AI generated for a Crash Bandicoot game and a Call of Duty game and and a Guitar Hero game. So
wow.
they put like an ad for this like Crash Bandicoot game, and you're like, oh cool, and you click on it and it's like, do you actually want this game? Put in your email address or whatever. But like the ad was like really weirdly like it was obviously AI generated ad. There's like all these like characters that it's like, who's that? That's not a Crash Bandicoot character.
Right,
That guy only has half his head. What's happening in this?
yeah. It's the Rock eating rocks.
No.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it was a very weird ad campaign. And but or where they were sort of like testing the water. But it's like, you know, yeah, with these like AI slop things. It was ugh.
the hogs love it.
Yep.
Anyway, the last story, I'd like to end on a fun story here. Because so like as this article says, now under normal circumstances, in a fighting game tournament, you are not allowed to be coached during the
Okay,
actual thing.
okay.
You know, you're not allowed to be coached during your thing. But during latest Tekken, the Texas Showdown 2025, where it was a bunch of different games, but I believe this was they were playing Tekken 8 tournament. A guy by the name of I Got Jet had he had his coach with him. Wait, you can't see that well. He had his coach with him in his backpack.
Oh,
He gave him a treat.
that's a good boy.
Yeah.
He is the best boy.
What do you think that dog's hitbox looks like?
Some bullshit.
Yeah. Apparently, he is a Leroy Smith player who in Tekken actually has a dog in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Anyway, Kentaro is the dog's name.
Good name.
He's a Shiba Inu, and I believe he took like 5th place. Like he didn't win.
Dogs,
But that was not Kintaro's fault.
dogs are loyal. They can be trained. They can understand pattern recognition. I don't see any reason why you literally couldn't train a dog to lightly coach you in fighting games. It'll give you a little nip when it's time to block, pat with the paw when it's time to attack.
Let me check the rules up. Turns out
They can
there are
smell
no
your
rules against it.
yeah. They can smell your opponent's fear.
Well, there weren't. Thanks, Kintaro.
A pioneer.
Right, that's true. There was a dog who did a full speed run at
Right.
GDQ.
Yes. So dogs. I mean, I would love to see someone try and train a cat to play some sort of games. They seem to do it themselves.
They would
on the
only play
monitors.
when they watch,
That's-
or when
yeah.
nobody's watching.
Yeah, the like dog and cat
Oh.
games for like tablets where it's just like it'll be like a little fly or something
moving
going around
around.
and then
They'll bat at it. Yeah.
So cats are mono camera off streamers.
which
Yeah, they I don't know. I just really enjoy that cats know when intelligence is being tested and refuse to participate.
Right? Yeah.
yeah, it is that aspect of like once something it's like yeah, you have the tests for intelligence, but they only go in. It only works up until a certain point, and at a certain point, the animal or the thing that's being tested
Yeah, kind of.
is not fails not because they're not smart, but because they actually don't want to do the test because
Yes.
they're sort of too smart for the test, or
Yeah.
they just decide that they don't want to participate in the test, which is
It sounds like me in elementary.
definitely silly. Anyway, I think that is all the video game news that I had to talk about this week.
Yeah, all that's fit to print.
Obviously, there's been a bunch of other news come out. It's strictly video game related. And as I mentioned at the beginning, no checkpoint. There wasn't a checkpoint this week. Next week, as far as I know, there will be a checkpoint.
One more note on price, too. Price go down at store.loadingreadyrun.com.
This is very true. This is very true.
We were already in the middle of a sale, and the sale just got better.
Yeah.
We're looking at a blanket 20% off across the entire lineup of what was in the store, including things that weren't on sale before. So
Yeah.
if you've been holding out, go. There's no better time, and it's for a limited time.
Cover your hideous bodies with our shirts.
Hydrate yourself with our mugs.
And for many of these items, this may be the very last chance to get them. Not to don't want to FOMO you too hard here, but I'm afraid that's just how it goes. We're taking the opportunity when we move to our new warehouse to streamline our inventory. So some of these things may not come back. We don't know what that looks up right now. And yes, and also actually to be clear, unfortunately, the way Shopify does things is the 20% store-wide discount
Is applied at the end.
will
show up
be
in your
applied in your cart. It doesn't actually show it on each item. It's very frustrating. I don't know how to. Anyway,
But
but if you put the thing into your cart, you will see that it is less expensive than it should be because it is 20% off.
And if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you're literally sitting at the most powerful calculator you've ever had. You can do the math yourself.
Remember when your teachers used to say you might not always have access to a calculator?
Yeah, wow. Shame they're not alive anymore.
And I'm sorry, I'm sorry that some things, obviously, a lot of stuff, some things are sold out. And that's obviously if you previously bought something and now it's 20% off, but then again, it may have been sold out. So, you have to, and
It's a real prisoner's dilemma.
April 7th is when this sale is going till. And I want to be very clear that there's not going to be, don't be like, oh, maybe it'll go to 40% after April 7th.
No.
After April 7th, the store will close.
Yeah, we'll go to infinite percent.
The store will close, and it'll probably be closed for a while as we're transitioning to our new thing.
You can't move a store while it's open. That's madness.
So
It's a food truck.
So we will. April 7th is the last day that you'll be able to buy the stuff. Please do so. Otherwise, we have to figure out other ways to. If the best way that we want to get rid of this stuff is to ship it to you.
We want to give it to you, but unfortunately for us to do that, you do need to give us some money.
Yeah.
We're unfortunately we can't make the shipping cheaper for you, but we can make the
Everything
actual
else.
product as cheap as possible.
Damn, I like the idea of now just buying a food truck, filling it with our merch, and going on a cross-continent tour.
Well, now I also like the idea of a food truck that only sells when it's in motion, so that you have to like dock with it on the highway.
Match warp speeds to engage
Yeah.
transport.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they teleport Kaylair aboard the Enterprise.
Ian, I think a food truck filled with our merch is just like a truck. Like, I don't think it needs to be a food truck at that point.
I think you'll find that for a certain determined fan, it is in fact a food truck.
Anyway.
Loading Ready Run, store.loadingreadyrun.com for external use only.
Or internally, I'm not telling you what to do with it. I'm not a cop. Floss with our shirts.
Anyway. And actually, yes, just to reiterate what somebody mentioned, if there are a few things in the store that are left over from like Desert Bus, again, because of the moving warehouses and stuff, there's a pretty good chance that the Desert Bus stuff, the old Desert Bus stuff, is not going to make the move, right? Like, Desert Bus is a mostly separate entity from Bionic Trousers Media, Loading Ready Run. And so they may even move, the Desert Bus stuff may actually even end up moving somewhere different than the Loading Ready Run stuff. So if you want Desert Bus stuff, get it now.
Still a good time. It's on sale.
All right. With that out of the way, want to thank everybody for watching and joining us. Thank Ian and Cameron for stepping in to talk about the video games.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
And we will see all y'all later.